You have unread texts from Golf Buds. Would you like me to read them?
Yes.
Okay. Johnny says, what are the nicotine pouches you had on the course? Walker says, 8 milligram on nicotine pouches. Billy says, I love the mint one.
I like that one.
Walker says, me too. By the way, you both stink at golf. LOLOL.
Come on. Carry on nicotine pouches. Shop now at onnicotine.com/group text. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma on Tuesday, February 11, 2025. Trey, I want you to know that I appreciate every single news story that you share with me. But I have to admit that sometimes I question why you send me certain stories. Like the one you sent me recently about the tech billionaire who wants to live forever sharing data about his son's erections. Trey, why are you sending me news stories about a tech billionaire sharing data about his son's erections?
Because it's the tech billionaire sharing data on his son's erections. Because the guy's just like, I don't know if you've read about him, his quest to live forever. I mean, and it's his regiment every day. If you want to talk about taking the joy out of life, go watch a video of this guy's daily rituals. I mean, everything he does is, it's like, you want to live forever, but you don't want to live.
Ooh,
like, enjoy life.
Yep. Brian Johnson, the American tech entrepreneur and venture capitalist, known for his attempts to extend his life and try to live forever, has raised eyebrows after sharing data about his son's erections. My God. He recently starred in a Netflix documentary. Well, that's where you must have seen it, Trey.
No, I've just read about the guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, good news, Trey. There is a Netflix documentary about Brian Johnson and his quest to live forever. It's titled...
I'll watch a documentary about an Indian serial killer. I don't want to watch a documentary about a white guy trying to live forever. Man, that's...
What if those two cross paths?
If the Indian guy was killing the white guy, yeah, absolutely. All over it.
Yeah. See, that's where those two stories intersect, and you want to make sure you've got all the proper backstory and context for both entities.
And that's just called the first 48, Trey.
In case you're curious, Trey, the title of the Netflix documentary is Don't Die, the Man Who Wants to Live Forever. Jesus. In a post on X, which has been viewed 6.9 million times, probably more than that by now, Brian Johnson shared nighttime erection data from my 19-year-old son. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with parents? The post details the number of erections, the total duration of the erection, and the average quality of the erection. How does he know this?
Therein lies my biggest question about all this is, what kind of sensors do they have, going on there that they know all this data about their erections?
The post has shocked social media users, but it's not new for Johnson, who was public about his pursuit to de-age his penis. Well, isn't that a perfectly fitting last name?
He also, mind you, this guy, I think he calls refers to his son, sometimes it's like blood boy or something, because he takes the plasma from his son in order for him to try to extend his life.
Isn't that the stuff they were accusing Hillary Clinton and Democrats of, is being vampires? And it's this guy?
No, I think it was drinking the blood of babies.
Okay. I do
at the
remember
pizza
there
place.
was a story from a few years ago. It was like a social media fad, apparently, or a trend. Or maybe it was just a tabloid shock story that celebrities were using the blood of children to try to rejuvenate skin and extend life and stuff.
Well, there's a lot of people who like save now they save the amniotic fluid of their children's birth because it's got stem cells with their own DNA in it that they think will be able to help them potentially down the line, organs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I get
Cancer.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get all that. But this is literally it's like his son is a clone that sometimes from what I've read, the way he refers to his son is more like it's a walking organ donor.
It's a blood bag.
Yeah.
In the new Mad Max, that's what Tom Hardy's character was in the new Mad Max movie. He was a blood bag for one of the bad guys. It was like they would use his blood. So that's exactly what Dad is using this kid for. That's really creepy. In a December blog post from Johnson titled "How I'm De-Aging My Penis," Johnson wrote that if you're not having robust boners at night, you're 70% more likely to die prematurely. If you're grinding at the expense of your health, you're flaccid. I would argue that if you're grinding, then you're at least somewhat healthy.
And
this go ahead, Raj.
I've never looked at my penis and said, man, it's gotten older. Like, I don't know. It's like I've never seen it and gone, I got to de-age this.
Yeah. This exact claim does not appear to be backed up by scientific evidence. However, according to a study from the University of Mississippi, men who have erectile dysfunction have an increased risk of premature death. There has not been significant medical research into the correlation between robust boners at night and premature death. Well, don't tell Mr. Johnson that because he's clearly convinced otherwise.
What if you have like a robust boner at like mid-afternoon?
That's a good question. Is that
I'm
normal?
I'm just curious.
Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah.
If it comes out during the day, if it sees its shadow, how many years do you have left?
I just always assumed, that my penis would age differently because it's moisturized better than anything else.
Really, really well said.
Yeah.
Well done, Trey. It's February and you've already got the line of the year.
Yep.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Let's get Daniel and Carrie Cook into the Treehouse now from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. Give them a call for your free roof inspection, 833-COOK-DFW. Take a look at their fantastic work on the website, cookdfw.com. So we talked on the show recently about the least attractive male hobbies, according to women. So I figured let's go to a source and ask your wife, Daniel. Carrie, what do you think is the least attractive male hobby?
Golf.
Get out of here. That's ridiculous.
See,
Whatever.
on according to other women, they said video games. So you're anti-golf.
Well, you know what? It's not bad because then he's gone more. So, yeah, it's a toss-up.
Oh, whatever. Jesus.
While they don't have all the relationship stuff figured out, they know roofs really, really well. So give them a call for that free roof inspection, 833-COOK-DFW or the website, cookdfw.com.
You're listening to The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment is brought to you by Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. To get your free roof inspection and to get yourself on the Cook list, call 833-COOK-DFW today. That's 833-COOK-DFW or go to cookdfw.com for Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. I'm Dan O'Malley along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma inside the Treehouse. Valentine's Day is coming up. Valentine's Day is Friday. And I saw an interesting statistic that I want to share with you boys right now. 61% of single people are willing to go on a first date on Valentine's Day. Trey, as our resident single man, how would you feel about going on a first date on Valentine's Day? Would you try to let your little Trey dry out a little bit in anticipation of a hot Valentine's date, or you can just stay moisturized?
He pretty much stays moisturized all the time.
24/7 moisture routine. Got it. All right.
No, I'm not doing a first date on Valentine's Day. That's
really.
that's
not very rom-commy of you.
Well, it's just going to be awkward. I mean, all right, one side I can see it because find some girl, you take her out on Valentine's Day. She didn't think she'd do anything on Valentine's. Might be an easier way to get some loving. But on the flip side, you're talking about setting the bar high and then just falling down after that if you're trying to first date on Valentine's Day.
It does.
It's not like you can treat it just like a first date. You would have to do something extra.
You're right. It's definitely not going to be your average or normal first date if you're doing it on Valentine's Day, because I'm sure that it is going to move the expectations just a little bit for everybody involved. One, for you as the guy feeling the pressure to deliver on something more than just an average date because it is Valentine's Day. And then maybe the expectation on her end for you to do something more because it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it just seems like that's a recipe for disaster relation. If you're dating with intent that you're trying to find someone you want to have a relationship with, that seems like a tough way to start.
On the other
it's
hand,
all overpriced as well, right?
Yeah, from the financial, really. On the other hand, it might be, if it works out long term, it'd be really cute to say, our first date was on Valentine's Day.
And then you got to go bigger and bigger every year. No.
Keep the bar low, right?
Yes.
So it's easy to step over later. So, Raj, just on the financial side of it, thanks for leading into your stereotype. A Valentine's Day date may not be the wisest decision if you're a frugal dater.
Yeah, I just think, all of it. You're going to have long lines. You're going to have, extended wait times at any restaurant you go to. And then if you're going to somewhere you have to make reservations, they're going to have like the Valentine's Day, like prefix menu and all that stuff. And that's overpriced. And then do you get flowers? Because it's Valentine's Day. And those are now, instead of $12 the day before, are $45 now. And so
if you really want to show her you love her on Valentine's Day, you get her a dozen eggs.
I don't have that kind of money. I don't know how you're balling, Dan. But if you really got it, it's cage free.
Oh,
60 free range love you.
Yeah. In a new survey, 61% of single people say they're willing to go out for a first date on Valentine's Day. Of single men, 65% of single men are into it. That means 57% of single women are into it. That means single guys are more into a first date on Valentine's Day than single women are. I am stunned by that. I would have thought it would have been the opposite.
Oh, I think guys don't want to be alone on Valentine's Day more than women. Women are better like with themselves anyway. So I think there's a loneliness factor that goes into that.
I think that also kind of depends on the guy, because at this point, Trey is well accustomed to hanging out by himself. Now, he's not entirely by himself. I mean, he's got his cat, Julius, and he's got the love of his life is Daisy, his 3-pound Chihuahua, which, thanks to Trey and Daisy, I've had the Pink Pony Club song by Chapel Rowan in my head for like a week.
Yeah.
But that's and Trey can easily maintain his moisturization routine on Valentine's Day without any interruption and without having to spend hundreds of dollars for a date on Valentine's.
Yeah. There's got to be a generational factor on this where they did this survey. This has got to be a Gen Z primary survey, because that's there's no way you're older and you go, yeah, I want to do Valentine's Day at all, but especially on a first date. No.
Trey, you are correct. Gen Z is the most adventurous of the generation, saying 70% of single Zoomers are willing to do a first date on Valentine's Day. They're young.
All they have to do is, they just have to
still
swipe
hope.
right. Yeah. And they just got to swipe right and hope somebody matches or whatever it is now. So like they don't have to have any special skill to achieve that date.
That is an interesting theory about that, because as Gen X, as we are here inside the Treehouse, we're more old school with, dating and our approach to romance.
Yeah, we had to learn like pickup lines and buy drinks and know how to dance. We had to do all of that.
To talk.
Yeah, you had to learn how to talk. And now these guys don't have to. So it's very easy for them to get to be excited about getting a date on Valentine's Day.
I've had one date. I had a first date many years ago on Valentine's Day.
Huh. And how did that go?
Poorly. Well, no, I mean, the date was poor also. Yeah, that was bad. There's a reason why Gen Z's more open to it and we're not.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Did you know that you can get even more Treehouse? It is true. You can get more Treehouse when you subscribe to Treehouse Plus on Patreon. Bonus content and subscriber-only episodes, including video, are available at patreon.com/@treehouseonair. That's patreon.com/@treehouseonair to subscribe to Treehouse Plus. Get even more Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma, inside the Treehouse today on Tuesday, February 11, 2025. Trey, I gave you a hard time earlier about the boner story that you sent.
Great choice of words.
You're welcome. And I'm now going to share another one that you shared. Not a boner or story, just a story. Okay.
Stop.
I'm going to keep going, I think I feel good about this. A drunk woman smashed her car into a World War II tank. I have many questions about this story, and the first of which is, what's a World War II tank doing on the roads?
I actually, I don't think it was. I think it was just on the side.
So that's how bad it is. This woman was so drunk she ran through a World War II museum. A drunk woman smashed her car into a World War II tank used on D-Day. Jesus. Wow.
Oh. She got so drunk she got in a wreck in the past. Like that. I would like to try to achieve that level of drunk one day. That's amazing.
You ever been so drunk you time travel?
I got so drunk last night I wrecked it into a tank. You're like, okay.
You ever been so drunk you accidentally killed a Nazi? Well, that could happen today, so never mind.
Yeah. I was like, was she driving a Volkswagen?
Oh, a woman has been arrested after a car crashed into a British World War II memorial in France. There we go. There's into a memorial. Jesus. The memorial is on permanent display at Sword Beach in Normandy, next to the Liberty Monument commemorating British soldiers who died in France. The tank is a Churchill AVRE Mark IV. The crash happened the Saturday, 5:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, 5:30 in the morning, man. The tank on display was part of the 79th Armored Division, created specifically for the D-Day landings. This tank was. A local police person said the driver hit a number of bollards before crashing into a tank. You know what a bollard is? BOLLARD.
Those little cement posts.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Oh, like the little historical markers?
No, you'll see them like at your apartment complex near the gate, so you don't actually hit the call button. There's like little posts.
Oh,
like
the ones that are in front of 7-Eleven, so you don't run through it to get a Slurpee.
Yes,
got it. Yeah, I see those in retail fronts all the time. Those. I don't know whatever. I never knew that those things had a name. I just saw them as old people blockers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the little yellow post, but
okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. So yeah, local police person said the driver hit a number of bollards before crashing into a tank, and the suspect, a French woman in her 40s, was found to be well over the drunk driving limit. Police said she was shocked and her car was badly damaged. I would hope so. But the armored vehicle remained undamaged and was not displaced. Hell yeah. The British tank stood firm. The Churchill tank was donated to France permanently by General Ian Harris, who commanded the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Ulster Rifles on D-Day. All right. So if anyone ever asks you if you've ever been so drunk you've run into a World War II memorial tank.
How do you go in front of a judge and it's like, let me see if I'm reading this case correctly. Like, was a tank that you hit? Yes. Okay. At 5:30 in the morning, you were that hammered, you hit a tank. Yes. You should automatically just go to jail. Like that. They shouldn't even offer like obstruction of a roadway or whatever it is they try to give you. I'm like, you're going to prison.
Well, I think there it could, because it's not like, they said it there. The tank sustained no damage, so really all the damages were to her own vehicle. Now we're assuming it was her car, but the vehicle she was in, that she was driving, I'm sure that was damaged pretty bad. But the tank itself, the World War II memorial, undamaged. So.
Carrying on the fine tradition of the French military.
She ran into the British and promptly surrendered.
There's nobody in the tank and she still surrendered.
That's pretty embarrassing.
There's no one in the tank and the tank still won.
You know you're a good tank when that many years later
you're still beating the French.
You're still beating the French. Yes. I'm just glad she didn't get drunk and then try to get in the tank and drive it around Normandy. Oh God,
that's what I would have done. I still got to get home.
Actually would have made sense, because it's like because you're so drunk at 5:30 in the morning that you barrel into a World War II memorial in Normandy, and you crash into a World War II British tank, and you up your car so bad that you can't get home. So what do? You hop in the tank and you drive that bitch home.
Can you imagine being like, you wake up at like noon that same day and you walk out in the driveway and there's a World War II tank? You're like, ooh, that was a rough night.
Los Angeles wakes up and sees a slow speed chase in Paris with a British tank. You're like, man, we got to up our game. Europe's outdoing us.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you like the Treehouse show, then you will love us on social media. So give us a follow at Treehouse on Air across all the major social media platforms. That's at Treehouse on Air to give us a follow on social media. Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma, inside the Treehouse today. We touched on this last week, and that was beaver news. So we did touch on some beaver news last week while you were sick, Raj. Luckily, there's been a new development in the beaver news world. So I'm glad you're here to touch on that beaver news with us. The story we read last week was a state senator from Minnesota who is wanting to make eating beavers legal in Minnesota again, but not just any beavers. Specifically, and this is the new development that we wanted to touch on here inside the beaver news. The Minnesota state senator is wanting to make eating nuisance beavers legal in Minnesota again.
What is a nuisance beaver?
I'm glad you asked. I, too, was curious what a nuisance beaver is. In Minnesota, residents are allowed to kill or arrange to have a beaver killed if it's causing property damage.
How do you arrange that? Like you just meet a guy at a bar.
No, it's
What do you need done?
It's in the back of Beaver of Fortune magazine. It's like classifieds. You got a beaver problem? I'm your guy. In Minnesota, residents are allowed to kill or arrange to have. Okay. Usually, you just like you call an exterminator, but somehow it just sounds way more nefarious when you say I've arranged to have the beaver terminated. So you called Orkin. No. This is much more serious. I'm not going to tell my wife Tara that next time we need to have the bug guy come. I'm going to say I've arranged to have the roaches taken care of, as opposed to just saying I called the guy.
Yeah, don't ask any questions.
Mm-hmm. The neighbors can call Terminix. We arrange these sorts of things. However, according to last year's Minnesota Omnibus Environment and Natural Resources Bill, a homeowner must notify a conservation officer or employee of the Fish and Wildlife Division, and the deceased rodent must be disposed of. Also included in the bill is a line prohibiting the consumption of the retained beaver. However, Senator Grant Hochschild is looking to eliminate that line. He says, what we're doing is setting right something that was done, either in jest or in the dark of night, but it should not have been added. According to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, beavers are abundant in Minnesota, and preventing beaver damage can be difficult. In many cases, it cannot be effectively managed without removing or killing the beaver. While beaver meat isn't commonly consumed, it is a protein and relatively low in fat.
What's the fine for killing a non-nuisance beaver? Like, what do you? Can you imagine being in jail? The guy next to you, what are you in for? Beaver.
They're gonna have to step up security if they have Lilith Fair there.
By the way, this is not the only beaver news happening in and around the Treehouse, which is dangerous given the materials that our show is made from. And that is the Great Beaver Snatch. Did you know, Raj, there was a Great Beaver Snatch?
Yes. I don't think we're thinking it's the same thing, though.
Probably not. Although
I should have saved that Lilith Fair line.
I know, right? You can throw in the Indigo Girls now. It's fine.
Yeah. Never hurts to have a Sinead O'Connor reference. R.I.P. There's been a Great Beaver Snatch. A bust up over beavers has raged after a man accused his neighbors of kidnapping his beavers. The beavers are owned by Merlin Hanbury Tennyson. The names of the beavers are Sigourney and Jean-Claude. Merlin is the son of explorer Robin Hanbury Tennyson, and he claimed his neighbors have kept the beavers after they escaped. Former Army Major Merlin, who has a license to reintroduce the wild animals, and wife Lizzie run wellness retreat Kabila Cornwall. This is out of the UK. He said the beavers immediately escaped after being reintroduced back in 2019 and repeatedly after that, but he's been stopped from collecting them. In an article he wrote called "My Neighbor Has Kidnapped My Beavers," he said, "My beavers have been kidnapped." He says, "A few months ago, there were 5 of them living on my family's farm. Now there are none. I know where they are, and I've received proof of life from their kidnapper. But he will not release them back to me or allow me to collect them and bring them home. I miss them and often walk along their stretch of river and past their dams with a tear in my eye."
That man loves beavers.
What was the proof of life? Like a drum circle?
Just one lightly gnawed stick.
Just holding up a Vanity Fair with the date on it.
Oh, my goodness. Merlin said he told the beaver nappers that he was licensed by Natural England, whatever that is, to recapture his beavers if they ran off, and he would be breaking laws if he didn't retrieve them. He added, "The beaver napper's response will live with me always, saying, 'That sounds like a you problem.'" And so Merlin says, "So I am now a criminal with a beaver license, but no beavers." How embarrassing.
I think the reason he has no beavers, his name is Merlin.
How did he not name one of the beavers King Arthur?
And I get the name Sigourney Weaver the Beaver and then Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, there you
Clever
go.
on Merlin's part. I've never named a beaver before. So
I figured he was just an 80s movie fan.
No, he's got some serious intention to naming those beavers the way he did. I like it, Raj. Sigourney Weaver the Beaver and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know if I say this enough, so I want to say it here so you guys hear it very plainly and very clearly. I fucking love this show.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
It is time to advertise here inside the Treehouse. Just shoot us an email, treehouseonair@gmail.com. That's treehouseonair@gmail.com to advertise right here inside the Treehouse. Sponsorship opportunities are available, especially if you would like to sponsor Beaver News, which I would like to think could have a regular appearance on the show, but you just don't get as much Beaver News like you used to. So we've really got to dig for it. Anyways, today is, check the room, Tuesday, February 11, 2025. Let's celebrate with some birthdays. Taylor Lautner turns 33, best known as Jacob in the Twilight movies. He was also in Scream Queens, and he's Shark Boy in The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. R&B singer Khalid, I don't know how he says his name, is 27. That's an R&B singer from the Billie Eilish song Lovely. Formerly of Danity Kane, Aubrey O'Day turns 41. Natalie Dormer is 43. She played Marjorie Tyrell on Game of Thrones. She was Cressida in the Hunger Games movies, and she was also Moriarty on Elementary on TV. From Destiny's Child, Kelly Rowland is 44. Matthew Lawrence turns 45, played Matt Donovan on Give Me a Break with Nell Carter, and he's Joey Lawrence's little brother. So Matthew Lawrence turns 45. Speaking of child stars, Brandy turns 46. She of Moesha fame and from killing someone in traffic in LA fame.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park and Fort Minor turns 48. Bryce Beckham is 49. He played Wesley on Mr. Belvedere. Man, that's a show I've not thought of in a while. Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah.
I don't even think Wesley. Okay, so I guess it was the kid. So you had the mom, the dad, teenage daughter, and a young boy, and Mr. Belvedere. I remember Mr. Belvedere.
Mm-hmm.
Was the dad played by Bob Uecker? Was that the show Bob Uecker was on? Was that Mr. Belvedere?
Oh,
I think you might be right.
Because he just passed away not too long ago. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bob Uecker starred on Mr. Belvedere. The show aired originally on ABC from March 15th, 1985 until December 30th, 1989, having put out 107 episodes. The network then shelved the remainder of season 6. 7 months later, ABC aired the show's two-part series finale on Sunday, July 8th, 1990, a rare occurrence for a canceled program. The remaining episodes from season 6 at the network shelved, bringing the final number of episodes to 117, would eventually air in syndication. Yeah, it starred Frank Dungan. Oh, no, sorry, that's developed by Frank Dungan and Jeff Stein, starring Christopher Hewitt as Mr. Belvedere, Eileen Graff, Rob Stone, Tracy Wells, Bryce Beckham, the birthday boy, and Bob Uecker. All right. Not sure if that's streaming anywhere, but I wonder if that's a show that holds up. Because I say 80s shows, it really seems, I'm not even sure if 50-50 is fair on 80s shows holding up. I think it's more like, I don't know, 75-25, and the 75 is not holding up.
Mm-hmm. Which ones do you think do hold up?
Cheers. Okay. Cheers absolutely holds up. There's a number of 80s sitcoms that hold up. Golden Girls is still hugely popular. That Golden Girls holds up. Cheers holds up.
The Cosby Show is actually still good if you didn't know what Bill was doing.
Yeah, you just have to, and this is not the first time Hollywood has had to deal with this. You have to, I forget what the phrase is, but it's you appreciate the art but hate the artist in that scenario. Kind of the same way that we were supposed to look at Kevin Spacey for a while. Kevin Spacey's one of my favorite actors, always has been, and I kind of shy away from saying always will be. I think he's been exonerated of his stuff. I'm not entirely sure.
For the most part, he's been vindicated for all the things he got accused of.
All right, so I can go back to loving Kevin Spacey's current and future work.
He doesn't have any future work. I think his house just got foreclosed on in Connecticut, if I'm correct.
Well, if he's been exonerated and everything, then Hollywood they're pretty good about forgiving people, especially if it makes them money. Hell, I mean, you still got Mel Gibson making movies. So I'm pretty sure they'll welcome Kevin Spacey back.
Yeah, but this I think was a little more of the Me Too stuff than drunken racial slurs or whatever.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, well, no, his was that he was accused of basically
raping.
Yeah, raping underage boys.
Yeah. And grooming them, I believe, as well. I think that was part of the allegation.
Well, if he's been exonerated, I guess good for him. And I'll be curious to see if he gets back into the fold in Hollywood.
Well, who is the director that
Woody
has
Allen?
been Polanski?
Roman Polanski, yeah.
Polanski, yeah.
And they ended up giving a tribute to him at the Oscars. So, yeah.
I think they do it to see if he'll show up. Because
you think it's a trap?
Yeah, I want to see if he comes and accepts the award so they can arrest him right there.
It's weird how if that would be the trap, like okay, Polanski, we're taking you in, but Woody Allen, well, at least he married his. That's okay. Married his adopted daughter. That's let's work with the Woody Allen. Jesus, Hollywood's weird, man. I don't know how you lived there for so many years, Raj.
It's true, but I mean, with the Cosby thing, like I always say this, like monsters will tell you they're monsters. Like, what was his job?
Gynecologist.
Where?
In the show.
Yeah, where?
In his basement.
There you go. He was a gynecologist in the basement, and his wife would go into the city for work.
I've said it many times, and it seems very applicable here. When people show you who they are, believe them.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Just like Aaron said, go to our website, treehouseonair.com, for all things Treehouse. Things you'll find there on the website, past shows, contact info, links, and so much more right there on our website, treehouseonair.com. Dan, Trey, and Raj with you inside the Treehouse on Tuesday, February 11, 2025. Just talking about birthdays. And Raj, you said you think Taylor Lautner, the kid that played one of the werewolves in I almost said The Shining. That's because the vampires are shiny. Twilight, thank you. From the Twilight movies, you said that you think his career got killed because of the Twilight movies?
Yeah, I thought I'd read something about that where he just couldn't get any more work after that. Like, so I'm hoping he made a bunch of money.
Yeah, I would hope so. So Taylor Lautner, who's 33 today, played Jacob in the Twilight movies, but he was also in Scream Queens, and he played Shark Boy in The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Scream Queens came after the Twilight movies.
It did.
The Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I don't know where that fell, but I agree with you in theory that being typecast or something in Hollywood does have long-lasting effects. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case with the Taylor Lautner, because Robert Pattinson came out of the Twilight movies just fine. I mean, he played Batman. He was in the Christopher Nolan movie. Tenet was really good. He's been in tons of other stuff. There's a movie coming out soon with him that I want to see. I think it's called Mickey 17. So it's really weird how some people, will strike it rich in Hollywood and others don't, especially when I'll see people that I think are just massively talented and then never see them in anything again.
Well, but there's so many things. It's like Taylor Lautner. Yeah, he was in Scream Queens for 10 episodes, but then he's also another show, I've never seen it, called Cuckoo, that was on for like 4 seasons, and he was a part of that. So he's been working.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
just not stuff that we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the downside of being that good looking, because what little I know of the shows that we've just said, I believe the majority of those are female audience driven. Whereas, I mean, Robert Pattinson was obviously the star in the Twilight movies, but he's been able to cross over into other stuff, maybe because he's not as hot as Taylor Lautner. I don't know.
But I think he was also in the Harry Potter movie before he did Twilight.
Okay.
He was in that the Goblet of Fire or whatever it was. He was in that.
Robert Pattinson? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, because I'll give you a really good example of people that I've seen that I thought were really good and then never see them in anything ever again. It's just a guest spot, and it's only because we just finished watching it for like the 4th time. In Mad Men, there's a guy in the series finale of Mad Men. It's in this group circle therapy thing. It's a very average looking bald white guy telling a story about how no one sees him. And in this group therapy circle is Don Draper, played by John Hamm, and he comes over and gives a man a hug. The guy that gave this monologue is just standard middle-aged white guy from Central Casting type, but he was so good and just phenomenal. But I've never seen him in anything since. I'm sure he's probably been a bad guy or something on Law and Order, but I think everyone does that in Hollywood.
Do you know his name?
Nope.
So you can't look him up to see what he's been in?
I mean, I could find it. I mean, I can look up the episode and see. I haven't seen him in anything else. Then again, I don't know if he's going to be the star of American Ninja 7.
And clearly you've looked a lot, being that you don't even know his name.
I'll look. I will look right now. Please, God, don't have been in something amazing. Please don't be in the MCU.
I hope his name is Merlin as well.
Let me look this up. Okay, there's Mad Men. Episode guide. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's 92 episodes. You make me look all this up. Hang on. Episodes. Sorry, season 7.
Didn't they film some of that in Dallas?
I don't know.
I thought they did. I thought they filmed some of the episodes at Southside Lamar.
No idea. All cast and crew. I need it for just the episode. These guys are giving me crap about it.
I had totally forgotten that RoboCop was filmed here.
That I always remember. I always remember that.
That's when they had those Las Colinas studios, right?
I don't know how much of it was done in Las Colinas. I just know that they used Dallas City Hall for the OCP headquarters in the movie. I don't know how much. And then there was, I think part of South Dallas was used for the streets of Detroit, which makes sense.
Yeah, and Problem Child was filmed here. That's
I actually played soccer with a couple of the kids on the baseball team in the movie Problem Child. They were on my soccer team when I was in 3rd grade. We even went to the Dallas premiere.
Yes, and John Ritter asked out Nikki and had to be told immediately that she was 14.
John Ritter asked out your ex? Oh, but whoops. Did she look older?
No, she looked 14.
So was he working on the sequel, Problem Adult?
He was doing research.
I can't find this guy.
Neither can casting, so it's okay.
Anyway, poor Taylor Lautner, super hot and working in Hollywood. For all things Treehouse, go to treehouseonair.com. Give us a follow on social media at Treehouse On Air. For me, it's at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, it's at Trey Trenholm 1. And for Raj, it's at Comedian Raj. We'll see you back here tomorrow, right here inside the Treehouse.